So we are living in a simulation, not a solid reality. And it's coming from inside of us. It's a projection, a projector screen. So when you accept this and when you really understand this, then you stop reacting to negative things. And I know that we all have things that, happen to us that hurt and we react to it. But when you really get into the belief that it is a simulation and not real, then you can shift these things that are happening. Because when you realize that everything that is happening has been created by your imagination. Now, it might be coming from an old version of your imagination, and which is why it creates these negative experiences or stuff. But when you react to them and you really get into them, then you make them real. But if you are able to shift your awareness and your feeling state, then you can very, very quickly manifest something else. And so what you created out here came from inside you. And you want to understand that, because what we do is we experience something we don't like, and then we try to change the outside circumstances. And it's exactly like the Matrix movie, where you can't bend this spoon if you think this spoon is real. And when you understand that everything is coming from within you, then you understand that you have to shift and change you inside. Then when you change you, then the projection of your reality changes, because it comes from within. So this is why meditation speeds up and amplifies manifestation. So you get things much faster when you've been meditating. Why? Because when you meditate, you shift your awareness into you and you start changing from the inside out. And so I'm going to show you exactly how to shift this, where you can shift it one time and you can get into a feeling state and you can stay in that feeling state to create what it is that you are wanting. And then it's just a matter of coming back to that and not giving any energy to the things that you don't like, but coming back to and shifting your feeling state. That's the key. And at the end of this, I'm going to tell you a trick to this and an exercise that's going to prove this to you. So this simulation is constantly changing according to what you are feeling and experiencing, what you believe to be true, what your interpretation of reality is. So that is what we're going to be shifting. And so you can start shifting your feeling state by just focusing on something that you want. So if it's a certain dollar amount, say it's $100,000, then you would picture that $100,000, that amount in your bank account, or wherever it is that you look at your balance, on your balance. And then you ask yourself, what would that feel like? So you visualize it, you see it. What would that feel like? How would you feel right now in this very moment if you already received that $100,000 today? How do you feel? What would you be doing? What would you be thinking? And then you feel that and you stay in that feeling. So is it relief? Is it confidence? Is it excitement? Is it, how are you going to spend that? How are you spending that today? How are you going to spend your day today now that you made that $100,000? And so what this does is it gets you into that place of you've already received it. It's assuming that you already have it. And then who do you become when you already have that $100,000? And you just continually step into that person. Who are you if you have $100,000? And you continually get back into that state. And it's even more effective when you do this as you're falling asleep. And so anything that you fall asleep thinking about, you're going to manifest into your reality. And I'm going to give you an exercise that's going to prove to you that this reality is simulation. But first, I'm going to tell you a story of how I lived this. So I was working at a restaurant, and I would get anxious every day about going in, about what was going to happen. And so I would focus and I would just hammer this mantra of, I am so filled with love that the only thing that reflects back to me is love. I'm filled with love, and the only thing that comes back to me in my reflection of reality is love. And I would do this every time I was driving to this job. And I did it originally to relieve my anxiety, so to make my night easier. But as I did this over a month or two, I started noticing that when I would walk into work, everyone would tell me they loved me. The girls would run up to me and hug me and say, I love you in Spanish.